Hello and welcome to this presentation about preparing a sensitivity analysis. This is Bethany Hansen and I'm going to be your guide through the steps here at a pretty high level. This is something new to all of us and it's going to be a great thing to learn about. So first of all, we just want to talk about why you would do a sensitivity analysis. What is it? What is it all about? Well, the first thing is we've done our work to build a business case. So our business case is that thing we're going to be looking at for a potential business opportunity or expansion in our business. And once we have that business case, we're going to create a budget around it. We want to make a commitment. We really can't make those decisions until we've tested it out a little bit. So the sensitivity analysis is all about evaluating the potential risks and forecasting how we can change things if we want to go in new directions, or rather what changing conditions might do to affect our costs or our cash flow or our profit in this case. A sensitivity analysis is going to address all the assumptions we have about our business case. It will help us decide whether particular assumptions of this project scenario are important. It's going to help us calculate the importance of that. And I took that from Carl Berg's book that was from the Business Analysis with Microsoft Excel, 5th edition, page 334. It saves time by reducing our focus on drivers that have less of an impact, and it focuses our efforts on the drivers that have the biggest impact or that are critical to this project. So today, I'm going to train you in the basic steps at a high level to conduct a sensitivity analysis on our life coaching business idea. So that's what we'll be looking at today. Let's see if I can get to that arrow. So the first step is we're going to define the objective. And in defining the objective, we are looking at a life coaching business idea, and we want to look at the drivers in that coaching business, those things that promote profit or don't. We're expanding this part of the business, and we want to increase our profits. So we have many potential variables that we can talk about. And we want to narrow those to the biggest impact on our profits. So to begin with, our objective for this example will be to identify the main drivers of revenue. I can't speak today, goodness. The main drivers of revenue for the business. And then we will evaluate the sensitivity of our outcome, the anticipated profits, to changes in those main drivers. Or variables, I guess I called it there. All right. Taking a look at the next idea, we're going to do step 2, which is the qualitative review of the variables. So after we identify our objective, we're going to take a look at all those qualitative variables that might be part of the decision-making process. After all, we're trying to extend this life coaching business or expand it. The qualitative variable review before the main analysis is kind of like solving the problem ahead of time by weeding out some things. I have a little quote here to read you, and it's the resulting pre-optimal analysis is qualitative and provides sensitivity analysis results prior to solving the problem, which is an attractive feature for large-scale problems. And that was Gautier in 1997 and their team. So the idea is that the sensitivity analysis results really help us solve something ahead of time, and it's also going to give us some kind of clarity when it's really a complex problem. So the areas that we've narrowed down here in our example are going to be the marketing costs, the new program creation expenses, the market research expenses, the capital required for the coaching platform, the computer, the video calls, and the new sales. Now I have this new sales highlighted in yellow here because I want to make it obvious that this is the thing we're going to be looking at today. The marketing costs, the new program creation expenses, all those things, we can comfortably estimate these. We have some historical data. We also have long-term contracts with vendors on the coaching platform, the computers, and the video software, so we don't really need to worry about those things. The one area that we're least confident about is the new sales. We know that marketing dollars have been strongly related to the coaching sales in the past. We might reasonably expect to see this again, but the market ebbs and flows. We're not sure. So we have an assumption that more marketing dollars spent will increase our new sales of coaching, leading to better profits. So we want to test this out. And in our qualitative review of the drivers, we will we will look at the new sales. I have a wrong word in there in my notes. My apologies for stumbling a bit here. As the independent variable for the first analysis. So our potential profits are the dependent variable. And now we go on to the next one, which is our step 3, creating scenarios. Now, the idea is that when we create a scenario, because we're not really confident predicting new sales as well as we would like, we will create the scenario to test out some outcomes around our profits. And according to Montari and D'Arianto in 2018, one way to zero in on the factors most critical is to design different scenarios, just like different sets of assumptions about the future. It's really this idea that I'm talking about on this slide here, and that's to design a potential best case scenario, a worst case scenario, and one that's likely or most likely to be the middle ground scenario. Okay, we're going to move on to an illustration of what this could look like. So on the left side, I have a couple of tables stacked up on top of each other in the gray here. We have the number of coaching sessions that we might sell, and at $50 a session, what that revenue would be from those, the marketing costs that we are thinking about spending. So this is the new thing that we would use to expand our business, and the potential profit once we take marketing costs away from those coaching sessions. Down at the bottom, this is the anticipated profit if we double the marketing cost. There's no guarantee that we could get any additional clients, so I've just left it here as the potential worst case scenario. Now on the right-hand side, we have 3 scenarios, and this was pulled out of Microsoft Excel. So we have, what if the new sales remain constant based on historical data? So there's a table here that shows you the revenue, marketing cost, net profit. It's pretty much the same as the one on the left. And then the next one is a projection, or a forecast, if you will, of what would happen if new sales actually increased 25% with the new marketing costs going up to $500. And so you can see the increase here. We're getting a bigger share of profit because we're having more coaching sessions. And on the bottom, we've got a prediction, well, what if the new sales actually double instead of staying the same or just slightly increasing? And you can see here the results as well. So we're taking a look here to really see the tables depicting different scenarios around the volume of what we're changing in our variables to test things out. Basically, this is going to tell us if there's anything we might want to make decisions around, or if we can feel safe in those decisions, because there's a lot to be considered. What I've done here is pretty simple compared to most business analyses, and I just wanted to keep that simple and at a very high level for our presentation today. So step 5 is going to be to identify the impact and evaluate. Now, if the sales don't increase more significantly with the added marketing investment, we're not going to have an increase in our profits over time. That makes sense, right? But also, when we sell more, we have a greater profit margin because we're spending the same amount in marketing, no matter how much coaching gets sold. Now, I have a link here for you if you'd like to get some additional walkthrough guidance to format your Excel tables so you can have them auto-calculate and do some fun things in Excel. And those are here on this slide for you. And on our last step, we're just about to wrap this up. This is summarizing the scenarios, and I gave you a little tip on how to get there on the left-hand side, clicking on that what-if analyses in Excel. Now, my table on the right is not correct. My values did not come over in the calculations, so I need to go back and check them in terms of setting up my scenarios in Excel. But if you've done this correctly, you're going to have some different numbers in each of those shaded areas. And the summary data that is on a chart like this one, this is what you could share with a decision maker once you've populated all the tables and pulled it all together. So again, I just want to emphasize that the data on this chart is not exactly correct, but I wanted to illustrate what a chart like that would look like for you so you have some idea. Well, that's it in a nutshell, how you can go through the sensitivity analysis process, and a few references for you on the next slide, just to close us out and show you our sources. Gotten these things, a few articles out there, and also a YouTube video and the course textbook. Thank you very much for listening. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Have a wonderful day.